everyone. So glad you're here. I'm Crystal Garvin. I think I've met everyone here now. And this is Lacey Grimm, and we're both Diamonds with doTERRA and have been in this journey together for 4 years now. So it's exciting to be able to share some of what we've learned over the years. And sometimes I think we take for granted that people know how to teach classes. But certainly there was a learning curve for us, and we've learned what not to do and what to do. And Lacey's really masterful at teaching classes and teaches a lot of classes for her team, and one-on-ones she does, individual classes, living room classes. She's done large classes in big venues, so she's got a lot of experience, and I think you'll all get some great tips. We will have some time for question and answer after she's done, so if you think of some questions, you want to jot those down to ask later. We'll stay as long as we can to answer questions. And then you can always continue the conversation on the Facebook thread. I'm actually trying to do Facebook Live, so hi everyone. If it's working, if their internet stays stable, so which we'll hope. So we do not promote that we're going to stream these, but we're trying it out to see what kind of feedback we get and if it works out. So I know that'll be valuable to people who live other places or just couldn't make it live. But without further ado, we'll let Lacey take it away and talk to us about teaching effective classes.
This is funny because I'm Lacey, by the way. I do really like teaching a lot, but I have learned a great deal. I like to talk too. I was just telling Donna, I like to talk, especially about these kinds of things that I really like. So the teaching never intimidated me, but I did it all wrong, conservative, very, very, very wrong. So, but that's okay because doing it wrong means eventually you'll get it right. So my number one thing is teach classes. So you may feel inadequate, you may think, I don't know enough, and that is like the worst thing that you can think, not only for you, but for the people who you could potentially be helping. So do not stop from sharing, because there are people out there that need the information that you have, no matter how little you feel like it is. So that's the first thing that I wanted to get out there. And then the number 2 thing is teach classes. Because I could say this all day, I could say it again and again, and you might take great notes, but you're not going to be able to actually do everything I say or everything anybody else says unless you keep practicing and screw it up a few times. So just screw it up, screw it up, screw it up. Somebody the other day in one of our groups said, well, I'm trying not to be disappointed that I got so many no's this week. And the rule is that you're doing a really good job if you're getting a lot of no's, because you're planting a lot of seeds and eventually you get a yes, but you won't get a yes if you don't get no's. So you have to keep doing that. And the same format kind of follows. If you don't teach classes, you're never going to get good at it. So you can't just out of the gate be a master teacher of this, even if you like to be in front of people. And I know not everyone does, but sometimes the people who are actually not that comfortable in front of people end up being the best teachers of all, because they're very careful with their words. And I have seen people who are not, they wouldn't consider themselves extroverts, and they're the best teachers by far, because they're really good at knowing exactly what their points are going to be and sticking to that and that kind of thing. So you don't have to be a certain personality type to be successful with this. Okay. Something that also to keep in mind, David Sterling talked about just a quote from him that I really like, and I think I want you to keep it in your mind. We don't sell essential oils, we serve people with essential oils. And I think that that's really important. Although, I'm going to argue with him a little bit in this class, because I think it's important to question everything. But I do like that quote, because we do serve people. There's no question there. Okay, so now I have an S list for you. The S, the letter S. And this is number 3. If you're taking notes and you want to keep the numbers straight, this is a very crazy outline to do all the bullet points so you can make great notes. But number 3, the S list. First of all, you want to think about the setting of your class. So today we have a setting. This is actually not my favorite setting. Cold chairs, cold room, cold everything. It's not my favorite, but you can still have a really great class in this setting. But you do want to think about that a little bit. Really, where the magic happens with doTERRA is in living rooms and in personal situations like that. My actual favorite is around a dining room table. I've done a lot of living rooms, and I think that's great too, but at the dining room table, everyone can look around the room or look around the table and see each other's reactions to different things. And that interaction is really powerful in a class. When you see somebody's eyes light up because they just smelled peppermint for the first time, everyone sees that. It's a magical moment, and people are like, oh yeah, that validates their feelings about it as well. So So add a circular kind of setup is the best case scenario. So even when you get to somebody's living room, maybe they don't have a dining room table or they're covered with homeschool supplies, that's okay. You can sit in the living room and just kind of try to keep that circle mentality, because it also evens out the room. Even in here, next time maybe we should set up a circle.
Yeah, we could try that.
I like circles. I don't know. It feels very even that way. It's like a round table, right? Everyone has an equal voice. But anyway, so just keep the setting in mind. Make it comfortable. Keep it relaxed. And that may be a little bit about the tone that you bring with you, more so than the environment you're in. I also don't want people to overthink that, because your living room does not have to be spotless to have a great class. You know, you don't have to scrub underneath the toilet to have a great class. You don't have to wait until, you know, your kids decide to tidy up their room to have a great class. You know, sometimes we get obsessed with making sure there's no dust on the shelves, but if we're too busy concerned about those details, we will not be successful, because the details that matter are being in front of as many possible people as we can. I'm not recommending that you don't clean your house, but I don't. So, and of course, in the beginning, I cleaned my house a lot more because, you know, there were some strange people showing up. But now those strange people are my friends, and I don't care anymore. Also, I have a 2-year-old, almost 2 years. Well, he's not even close to 2, really, but it feels like he is because he's a tornado. So, anyway. Okay. So, do not wait for everything to be perfect. You don't have to have a perfect setting, but there are some things, some key elements to kind of keep in mind. Number 2, share. Of course, at a class, you want to share as much of your own experience as possible, but not all of it, of course. You're not going to sit there all day or all night. You want to keep the time constraints, and we'll talk about that more in a minute. But sharing the oils is the main thing. We really want them to do all the heavy lifting. We want to pass the oils around and let people experience them. That's why people are there. So share oils. 3 is kind of a step back, sample. Because we want people to sample the oils, of course, at the class, and in different ways, too. So if you can do it, maybe make some treats that have essential oils mixed in, and they can be very simple. You know, my favorite is goat cheese, and you could use cream cheese. I always have goat cheese. You may always have cream cheese. I usually both. So you can mix in a little honey and a little wild orange, and that is a very impressive snack for people, with fruit or with chips or whatever. And it literally takes 5 minutes, so you don't have to spend hours in the kitchen. There are other simple recipes. Shortbread is very easy. It's 3 ingredients. You put those in a pan and add some butter in, and those are, people love shortbread. So I would get some of those staples in your mind and just make a habit of that. I've known people who, they just take salsa out and dump some lime in it, and it adds extra zest, and people love that. And people like simple things. There used to be a multi-level, and it probably still exists, where it was like, what was that called? Tastefully Simple, right? And they just had all these mixes, and you're like, this is so easy. Well, we'll do the same thing. They're easier, right? No offense.
No, don't worry.
Anyway, okay, so the next thing is serve. I've already mentioned that word. It's going to come up a lot. Serve. Number 6 is keep it simple. Simple, simple, simple.
What's number 5?
Oh, sorry, that's number 5. I'm reversing the order here a little bit. No, Siri, I don't want to talk to you. Shh. Okay, I must have said something that sounded like, hey, Siri. Okay, so 6 is keep it simple. Too much information is way worse than too little. So we often, and this was my major mistake in the beginning, I had a 3-page outline of information I felt like everyone had to have, and none of it involved much about doTERRA, much about how to get oils, and nothing about how to buy them or anything like that, membership, nothing like that. So that was just me for maybe 2.5, 3 hours reeling off all this information that I thought they had to know. And really what we're doing in a class is opening people's minds up and sharing with them this open door. You know, we're really just in the market of making people aware that there's this whole other world that they may not know about. So it's not our goal to make sure that they have every last safety tip. You know, oregano is hot. Make them aware that there are hot oils. Don't list off clove and cinnamon and all of these things that you need to, and you need to make sure you dilute everything. And like, not that those aren't things you bring up, but you don't have to walk them down the dilution chart. You know what I mean? We're passing them the information or the resources and where to find the answers to those questions. Okay? And of course, we're going to be their guide further down the road as well. But this is just opening the door for them. So really focus on the simplicity, aromatically, topically, internally, and pass those oils around. And even with that, you want to keep it to 10 oils max. I feel like 10 is almost too much. If you're looking at a traditional sheet, usually they have 8 to 10 oils listed on it. You really want to keep it there. And I would keep it to the ones that are in the kits too. You know, your favorite may be, I don't know, juniper berry. And that's fantastic. And maybe you have a really great testimony about juniper berry, but pick that as the oddball that you're going to share. And then don't also go on about cassia and coriander, and you know what I mean. Those oils are fantastic and have a place, but you can't give them that full coverage explanation there. So really limit it and know kind of going in what you're going to cover. Okay, number 6 is sell, and this one's a hard one to swallow. Sorry, let's swallow it. We'll swallow it more later. Okay, number 4. Back to the numbers. The first numbers. This is not the indented numbers.
The PowerPoint.
Sorry. Oh, PowerPoints are great, but I don't know, it's too much. Anyway, okay, so 4. We're going to talk about positivity versus negativity, and we're going to come back to the structure of a class later, but this is the most important part of the class, and we're going to list off some don'ts here, and it's going to be an exercise for all of you. Because there are some definite major don't do that. And the major one is we are offering people this hopeful opportunity to take over their healthcare in a new way and to see it in a new light and all of that. If we come in with our baggage and we come in with our kind of negative undertone, and we all have that. We all have a tendency. Drew was just listening to this positivity thing, and it was about maybe, I don't think it was the Justin Field. It was another guy I never heard of. Anyway, he's constantly on quest for the next best personal development thing, which is crazy when I think about who I married. But anyway, it's a very fun path to be on. But so the whole thought was we have, as humans, we are naturally disposed to remember negative things. That's what human nature is. Because we want to avoid that. You know, if we saw a cheetah over there, we're not going to go back that way. So remembering negative things we're better at than remembering positive things. So that's an exercise. We always have to strengthen that ability to be positive because it's a force that works against us. So anyway, and what we're offering these people is something so positive, and in most cases, when I walk into a room, the biggest obstacle is these people even recognizing that they are sick. Because for the most part, people are sick, and they just think that's how life is. Like, that's just a part of them. So I'll finish a class, and you know, at the end, I'll say, does anybody have an ailment they want to look up? And people will be like, oh, no, I'm actually doing pretty good. And then I'll go around individually, and I'll say, do you have any ailments? And they're like, well, I do have an autoimmune disease. And I'm like, how did that just, like, it didn't even occur to them as a sickness for them, because they're so ingrained, that's like who they are. So overcoming this whole idea of that's just life. You know, life is just that, bad side of things. Our job is really to take people from that point and offer them an opportunity to see things differently. So that's a big mindset shift for people. And that is our biggest objective of the class. Okay. All right, so here are some things that people will say. You may be wondering, does anybody have off the top of their head some negative things that you might accidentally do at a class or say at a class? Or,
Well, I mean, I heard one online that said, I invited all these people and nobody.
Oh my gosh, that's perfect. Yes. Okay, so that's my first one. I don't know where all the people are that said they are coming. And you just keep checking your phone and you're like, where is Susie? She said she was going to be here. I guess she just forgot. I guess she doesn't care. She must hate me. I don't know. Anyway, so just that, I mean, what does that feel like if you're the person who is there? You know what I mean? That feels really horrible. So what's something that we could do? Raise your hand if you have an idea of something to say.
Okay, happened to me.
It's happened to everybody, right?
One person shows up, and I already know this. I don't cancel my class because one person is coming because I have the perfect thing when they come in.
Yes.
It is. Well, just so that you know, it's just you and me here today, but
Yes.
that is great because you have me all to yourself.
Yes.
And we're going to just concentrate on you and what you need.
That's exactly.
Bam. Right. And they love it. And they sign up.
You get 10 points. No, that's so true because this absolutely, like, if somebody feels like they have your undivided attention and your goal is just to help them, it just changes the whole dynamic. And I will say, smaller groups are better than larger groups because you can be more individual with those people. And not that you don't want 10 people to come and 10 people to enroll, but really percentages are generally always the same. And I'd rather have 100% than 25%, which is what happens, you know, in these larger classes, because you can't meet those needs, and you can't individually go around the room at the end and say, how can I get you what you need, you know? So that is the right answer. Does anybody have any other ideas? I feel like you can't do better than that.
Well, thanks.
Sorry.
Good
Good
job.
job.
Happened to me twice and both signed up, so.
Yeah,
Good
awesome.
deal.
Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, I love it. Okay, so something else is people qualify their capabilities, especially when they're hosting classes at their own house. They'll say, I'm new to hosting and teaching and I don't know a lot. I mean, that's kind of negative, right? Off the bat, you're saying, well, I'm not really qualified to tell you or give you any good information. And that's not how we should start our classes.
So you're going to undersell yourself, you'll undersell the product.
Yeah, and that they're from the beginning, they're going to be like, well, she doesn't really know what she's talking about. You know what I mean? It's just not a good, it's not good. So one of the things that doTERRA is so good at is education. You know, I mean, that's what makes us different than buying something from Whole Foods. One of the things that makes us different. When you get us with it, and you get the education that we can facilitate as well. So anybody who's starting has access to all of that as well, and has access to sharing that with other people, and has access to probably an upline or a team or whatever. So you are a resource, and so that's not true anyway. But the second thing is, what was I going to say? Like I said earlier, you know enough to help that person. You know that the oils can help whatever. And you may not know the exact oil for the exact ailment, but you have the book, most likely. So that's really all that you need.
Are you talking about that big book?
The big one. I saw somebody have the Essential Life. The Essential Life.
Or Modern Essentials.
Or Modern Essentials. There's lots of, well, not lots. Those are the two main ones. But
You
there
can
are
also
other
like Google
resources.
a lot of stuff. Like,
Yes.
like I have somebody that doesn't know about a book, but she Googles everything. And she,
There's a little bit of
she
wariness there,
spends
though,
like
because you find
$300
anything.
a month on oils. So she
Let's find the right answers.
Yes.
You can also get apps. There's the Daily Drop or
Daily
Modern
Drop is
Essentials
free.
app.
Yeah.
So there's
Yeah,
some
Modern
good
Essentials
apps.
is free. Yeah.
Droply is another one.
Droply. I haven't looked at that one. And there is now, actually, I don't know if you all know this, but Aromatools is starting a forum that you can go on and even add testimonies and actual protocols and stuff. This used to exist. This is a thing that used to be, and it was a very handy tool because you could share links with people of direct, experience. But since it's a third party, they can put the actual information on there, and we don't have to worry about compliance. So that's going to be a handy tool that you can also share with people. And
Can
I
you
don't
go on the
remember.
website for that?
Aromatools.
Oh, is it Aromatools?
Aromatools.
That's basically what Droply is.
Yeah,
The
backslash
app.
forum.
Oh,
Oh, is
okay.
it? Okay, I think. But if you go to Aromatools, I bet they're advertising.
What?
Droply, it's drop and then LII.
Oh.
And it's, I bought it so that I could give it to any of my team members free.
you
So
have
I've
to pay?
posted in, well, for the usage part you don't, but if you want to access all of it and share it with other people, you can either pay a monthly fee, or I paid a fee that lets me share it with anyone on my team free. So
I should
it's,
get it.
yeah, you should.
I count. Okay, so how could you, what's something that you could say is alternatively? It's not a bad idea to say you're just starting out, but what could you say? Raise your hand if you have a different idea.
So I can share with you how these oils have helped me.
Yeah, oh yeah, exactly. My testimony, my passion is to share people, help people the way they've helped me. Exactly, perfect. These oils have had such an impact on my life, that's why I invited you. I think you'll love them. I mean, really, that simple.
And you can say I'm still learning, but you're
Yeah.
always going to still be learning. So, there's a
Right.
positive way to say the same thing. Don't apologize for what you don't know.
I only know about a couple. I mean, I'm trying to educate myself.
A couple oils.
A couple, yeah, like I know about eucalyptus and lavender, and I guess peppermint, but I mean,
You probably know more than most of the people around you then, and even after just 3 weeks.
So
So,
what are the 3 ways that you can use oil?
internally, topically, and
and only doTERRA oils. But so you already know more than most people because they're like, oh, what do I do with this 2 liter bottle? You know, so you know more than, and so that's huge. Okay. All right. Here's one that I think is important, and I may have done this, but I'm okay. I am so against modern healthcare.
I struggle with that one too.
It's a hard one. It gets harder all the time to not say how you really feel about these things, but it is not a good way to start a class, particularly if it's a class full of strangers and you don't know what their occupations are. So that is something that I think you need to think really hard about not saying. So what is something that you could say alternatively?
Can you say that there's
Oh, sorry.
a lot of side effects to a lot of the drugs?
Yeah, sure. You can say, I like to avoid the side effects that come with modern medications, and for the most part. You know, something more generic. And when you say that, everyone knows that's true. There's no denying that's true. You've seen the commercials. You've seen the things that come with your drugs that you buy. So you know people who died from using them or being addicted to them or whatever the case may be. So, I mean, we were trained to say no to drugs, and yet here we are. Anyway.
I always like to say I love how doTERRA works with modern healthcare.
Yeah. Especially now, that's
yeah.
becoming more and more true. So that's definitely.
So I don't want people to think you can't, it's one or the other. You can't use both, or that there's not a place for modern medicine, because certainly there
If you
is.
have somebody in there that is in the healthcare field, they're going to shut down, and that's the last thing they're going to hear you say. So,
That I love how doTERRA works with modern healthcare to build bridges between the allopathic and the, homeopathic type models. So it doesn't have to be one or the other. You can have, both if they're starting to work more and more together. doTERRA does, I don't say this in every class, but does so much partnering with hospitals and medical professionals, and has done so many clinical studies, and more is going to be coming out about that throughout this year and leading up to convention, when there's going to be some big news. I think that they're waiting till convention to announce about some of these studies and hospitals and other medical professionals that they've been working with to prove the efficacy in their clinical settings. So.
and that really is the vision of doTERRA, to bridge that gap. So that's definitely something you could talk about, definitely. But okay, so what did I come up with that I thought was good alternative? Similar. Talk about how differently the oils work from drugs. So that's something I always try to highlight. So when you use drugs, they're usually trying to stop some kind of function. Like if it's an antibiotic, they're trying to stop that bacteria. If it's an anti-inflammatory, they're stopping the inflammation. But inflammation is a natural body process. So when you use the oils, they work differently, and they trigger the body to do what it's supposed to do in a more effective way. So instead of going in and doing something for us, they say, hey, body, wake up and do what you're supposed to do. And people usually get that. That usually resonates with people. And that's true of all holistic healthcare. So, I try to say that too. We're a piece of that puzzle, that holistic side of things. Because there are also people who are, really into, trying to think of a natural healthcare thing that people are into. Homeopathics. There's lots of options out there. Tea, herbalism. It's all kind of the same, similar things. But it's all a piece of that puzzle, that holistic alternative medicine. So we don't want to bash modern healthcare, even though we maybe feel like it deserves to be bashed.
What I normally say is, I said, back in the olden times before there was modern medicine, there were oils and herbs, and that's how people, used it for their health care. And a lot of the drugs now are made synthetically
To mimic that.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so this is getting back to before there was modern medicine. Yeah, that's what I usually say.
Yeah, it's like margarine versus butter.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. Okay, so even though the oils are expensive, I hear that all the time. Are the oils expensive? Yeah, thank you. Say that louder.
Drugs are very expensive.
When we put
more and more expensive.
yeah, and you're needing more and more these days. So when you put oils in perspective, people maybe come to these classes and expect to pay, Tupperware prices, or Never mind, try that. People really drop $2,500 on top of her at a class or a party.
You can, I'm sure.
But people will look at those kits and they'll be like, oh my gosh, the diamond kit, that's ridiculous. But I'm like, look, that's for some people, that price tag, what is it? How much is it? $3,500?
$2,500.
Diamond is $2,500? That's it?
Yeah.
Good deal!
It's better than you thought.
It really is. I'm gonna order a couple of those. Anyway, so
Yes.
really think about all those products you get.
awesome. Yeah,
I'm paying more than that. Anyway, okay. So $2,500. Some people pay that much for a prescription every single month, if not more. Not to mention doctor and all that other stuff that goes along with it. So anyway, when you really put it in perspective, that's huge. But I think that's a mind shift too. You're going to do on your own, and it may not be something you bring up at the class until the very end. But that is a very good point. You just don't want to set a tone of how expensive the oils are, because people are like, okay, well, I need to, in my mind, set this budget. I'm always spending $50, at this class or something. People just start thinking that way and being on guard. What you need to talk about is hyping up the value of the oils and what you are offering these people. Really make that evident in your class throughout the whole time. And how you can save so much when comparing to the alternatives that they likely use now, like we just said. The good comparison of peppermint essential oil is how much, 8 cents a drop, and there's 250 doses in a bottle. I mean, that's kind of a good, and even frankincense, one of our more expensive oils, is only, is it 23 cents?
I think so, 21, 23, something like that.
Cents a drop. And it's funny sometimes, like even now, I use a lot of frankincense, and all you be like, man, that's $1 worth of frankincense I just used. But every time I'm like, oh, totally worth it. So anyway, plus you can dilute, and yeah.
How do you figure that?
The price sheet, yeah, there's a price per drop sheet. That's very handy. Yeah.
And you can also just, on average, divide a 15 milliliter by 250 drops and figure
For
it
the
out.
price, yeah. You know the price. Yeah.
If you know the.
It's also an investment in your health.
Oh,
And
sure.
also, the shelf life is so much longer than the pharmaceuticals you buy that you need to throw out sooner
Oh, yeah.
than you think. And,
Yeah.
I think doctors today are so over-medicating people, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Right. But again, we're not bashing. We don't care.
You say about an experience, because I had an experience
Yeah, please.
where I had pulmonary embolism from taking the medication.
Oh, good grief.
So,
You could share that for sure. I mean, I think that people think that only sick people die of drug problems, but that's not true. Healthy people get sick from drugs every day, and I think more so than we realize. Because after they take this drug, they start having psoriasis. It's like, what the heck? Where'd that come from? And they don't even connect those dots ever until I come in and I'm like, so did you have surgery right before the psoriasis popped up? Well, here's what happened. You had a heavy dose of an antibiotic and it wiped out your gut. So do you want to do the cleanse 2 times in a row to get that gone or not? And I mean, it's just like simple facts that our doctors don't even know is true for the most part. So there is an element of we have to educate people. We're just opening doors. That's not something you would say at the first class.
so how do you
But-
learn about the cleanse thing? You just go on for the education?
Here's what you do. You just keep using your oils and all this stuff will come up as you go. You cannot learn it all in the next month. You can't. Because I tried that, and here I am 4 years later, still trying to learn it all in the next month, and it's not
Just keep
happening.
going to classes as because she'll have a cleanse class and she'll
Yeah,
have
we
a-
have
no,
classes
she'll have
all the
different
time.
classes discussing.
But more and more that's becoming available, like through doTERRA, they're doing great stuff too. So I mean, there's
Even
just
like on the daily drop, it walks you through one day at a
Yeah.
time. It's like 1 or 2 minutes. It's
Yeah.
the whole 30 days
Yeah.
and the.
There's
That's
actually
true,
in
that's really handy.
the Living magazine this month, I got it today, and
Oh.
there's a little cutout in there for what you do.
Like a
Oh,
chart.
cool.
Oh, I saw it online though. That's a great picture. I really like it. It's much better than the thing we got at the spring tour. That was a little bit cumbersome. But anyway, okay. All right. So the next, don't. You don't need to buy anything. No pressure. This is going to be a no pressure event. You're going to pressure the heck out of these people because they should not leave without the oils. Just joking. We had a guy show up yesterday to try. He was like a sales guy. We knew he was coming. We wanted him to come. And the very first thing he said is, this is no pressure. Just relax. I am not going to leave here. Oh, good night. He did the same thing I always do. Well, let me call my manager and see how low I can go. Before the end, it's like, give me a break. Just tell me how much this thing costs. Anyway, like they just, it's the same shenanigans every time. We don't have shenanigans. Our prices are our prices, okay? I do like that. But that whole, like, there's no pressure. I'm like, we called you because we want to buy this thing. So why would you come in here telling us that there's no pressure to buy? It doesn't make any sense. And most people show up in class knowing that there's going to be an opportunity to buy. So do not, like, don't from the beginning discredit that some people will be disappointed. They'll be like, why can't I buy oils here? That's why I'm here. So anyway. Okay.
I just had a flashback to your first class.
Where there were no order forms?
Yeah.
That one? Or
You're right.
mention of membership? Yeah. Anyway. Okay, so I still think that none of those, three of those people are enrolled in. And then the other ones went back to. Okay, tip, outline. I botched it, guys. That's all there is to say about that. It was still fun, though. We had a lot of fun.
And look where you are now.
Lots of
I know.
learning.
That's how you learn.
I know.
Yeah, you just gotta do it.
That's what I'm saying. Okay. All right, so having a plan ahead of time is definitely a key element. Not just walking in and saying, oh, I'm sure it'll be great, and don't worry, I've been to plenty of classes like that. Where, it's a new person who's building doTERRA, and they're like, well, I'll just go with the flow. I appreciate the flow. I'm about as hippie as they come for the most part. But when you walk in there and you don't respect that these people have someplace to be, or that they don't want to be there until 11 o'clock at night, while you go with the flow, it's just a little bit like, it's just disrespectful. And so people want structure in their lives. And the older I get, the more structure I want, because I don't want to be out until 11. I'm an old lady. Which reminds me. When that gets to 8:30, you let me know, because that's when the time is up for me. Okay? 7? Oh, we'll be good. I'll be good. Okay, so outline the class we'll cover so that they know what's coming, I think is huge, and I think people really appreciate that too. So at the beginning of the class, what I always like to say is, we are going to talk about what oils are, we're going to talk about why you want to use them, we're going to talk about how to use them, and we're going to talk about quality and how you can get your hands on them. So that's it, and I feel like that's simple enough that people are like, okay, she's going to answer all my questions, because what normally happens if I skip that step is I say, here's peppermint, and I get to the third person, she's smelling it. Okay, so how else can you use peppermint? And I'm like, I'll get there. Just wait, okay? And if I don't outline that, I find myself saying again, just hold that thought, we'll get there. You know what I mean? And if they know it's coming, then they wait, and the class doesn't take as long. It's not that I don't love answering questions off the cuff. I just don't want to take up everybody's time that way, because it can really get on some tangents if you open it up to that. So. Okay. And even say, and host, like if somebody's hosting for you, say, this class is going to take an hour and a half, and you really want to get your class so it's at least an hour and a half or less, because you're going to lose people. And I can vouch for the fact that he lost me yesterday at minute 30 and a half, because I was like, I'm sure that this is the greatest that ever existed. I know what it looks like to be passionate about your product, but I don't care. Anyway. Another big no-no or don't do is fear silence. And for me, this is huge.
What?
Do not fear silence. Quietly. That, and when you're first starting teaching, is a very it's like a oppressive feeling of like, why isn't anybody talking? They hate this is the dumbest thing ever. And even like now when I'm doing events where I can see the people's faces and I'm like, it's like maybe a training thing, because I'm like, they're hating it. They don't like it, they're not making eye contact, it's not interesting for them at all. And really what it is, they're just thinking, or they're taking notes, or they're trying to process the information that you've shared. And that is good. We want them to think and process information. So silence is golden in these classes. When you get to the end of the part about membership, and you take a deep breath for maybe 30 seconds, and then maybe they'll be like, okay, wait, I think I understand this. Can you explain this a little bit more? And that's okay. But let them not hear your voice a little bit, because if you just keep they're so distracted by what you're saying, they can't ever process what they were trying to process during that moment of quiet.
Would that be a good time to, if it's a moment of silence, to say,
No.
tell me what
The
you're
moment
thinking?
of silence is a good time to be silent.
Okay, but you wouldn't want to, give them the platform to say.
You could after the
Tell
moment
me
of
what you're
silence.
thinking for a moment. What questions do you have?
What I
Because
would
they're
do,
thinking something, and sometimes people are afraid to ask questions.
yeah, but usually they're just thinking. For the most part, they're not generally afraid to ask questions. If you've made it an open, feeling, then usually the question part is easy. And ultimately, probably asking questions is what they want to do, but they don't even know what questions to ask. So just sitting there quietly and letting them kind of mull over whatever, they don't even know, like, what they don't understand yet, So just don't say anything, and it's really tricky because we're not used to, awkward silences we think are a social faux pas, but they're elemental. And I remember the first time I embraced the silence. We were sitting at my dining room table, and there were, 6 or 7 people there, and it was during the Deep Blue special, and I was sitting there thinking, why are they all quiet? Why are they not saying, well, I can't afford this? Why are they not blah, blah, blah? And then the next thing that said was, somebody said, okay, well, I think I'm going to do this Home Essentials kit, which I don't think I'd ever sold a Home Essentials kit, so I was like, what? Because they wanted Deep Blue, and that was the smartest thing for them to do. And then she ordered it, filled out her form, and everyone else at the table filled out that form for the same thing, and I was like, oh, that worked! so I've gotten a lot better.
Can you tell us your closing statements where you go to that silent part?
Oh, good grief. Maybe I'll get there. Okay, no promises. Okay, we're jumping ahead. Okay, so number 5. Take some time to plan. I said, you want to come up with a good outline of what you're going to say at the class, and it doesn't have to be exactly what the tear sheet says. I like to take a tear sheet. When I first started, there was really only one tear sheet, and I thought it was too rich for my blood, so I wasn't spending 50 cents on random strangers. So, there was no tear sheet at all. There was just an outline. And we did a PowerPoint a couple of times, but that felt unnatural for me. Because what happens is, I'll say things, and then I pull up the next slide, and I'm like, oh, whoops, I already said that, and then I just look like I've never even looked at my PowerPoint, which I do. Anyway. I have an outline. I still have it. I like to go over it sometimes because I included all kinds of information that was really unnecessary, and I weeded all of that out now. And the outlines, the tear sheets now, do really pare it down to basically exactly what you should cover in class. So they're super helpful, and there's so many to choose from, and now we have Class in a Box, which was not available, and that is so cheap and easy to access. You can print it for free. That's really great. Those are great opportunities. And when you use them, though, make it your own. Go through it even in the mirror if you need to, or maybe record yourself now and do it. And don't be embarrassed about that. You're rehearsing. If you were going in front of 20,000 people, you would certainly rehearse. So there's no reason you shouldn't rehearse for these people too, even though that feels silly. Okay, so before class, though, I'll tell you one thing I try to just always do before class. Even if it's at home, is I try to have some time before to just be silent and to maybe listen to some music that really gets me motivated or makes me, just feel uplifted and like I'm in this position to uplift other people. Personal development things can be good. Scripture could be good. It just depends on what it takes to get you in that place. Prayer obviously is a great thing. So before class, always do that. Oprah, one time I heard her say that, how did you get where you are? And she's like, I woke up every morning and I said to God, use me. And it's like, oh, well, I can do that. So, that's what we should do. Every time we go into class, use me to help these people. We are just facilitators. That's all we are. And any good salesperson is just a facilitator. Embrace it. You're a salesperson. Okay. So here's what my outline would look like. The first thing, and I've seen this in several places, Natural Solutions people talk about this a lot, Share Success people talk about this a lot. If you have a host, let them introduce you as the most brilliant thing they've ever met. And you'll tell them, hey, when I come, just say a quick word about why you wanted me to teach and how insanely smart I am, or how experienced I am, or how passionate I am, or something along those lines. Because it validates you as a teacher in that class situation. So that's a really important thing, to start off in the right foot there. That first impression is not going to be, can't be replaced. So that's great. And then open with your testimony, your personal why. Like why are you sharing these oils? Because they work, right? So maybe pick 1 or 2 stories, or one, if you don't have a aha oil. Mine is funny because I still basically use the same one, which is about diaper rash. And I always feel like I should come up with a better one than that. But it always, people are always like, oh, okay. I think it's simple enough that people are like, oh, well, that's kind of it, you know? And anyway. But, so that's my story that I usually use. And sometimes, though, I'll start, if it's like allergy, I'll kind of see, you know, feel how it's going. But I really like Tanya's story about getting rid of her allergy medication altogether. That's a pretty powerful story. Of course, there are so many over the years now, it's difficult to hone in on just one. And you don't want to open with, this cured my dad's cancer. That's generally not the best place to start. Because people are not open yet, so they're going to hear that and be like, yeah, this is, you know, wacko. Yeah, exactly. So,
What
yeah.
is for allergy?
Oh, lemon, lavender, and peppermint are a really good place to start. Hers were different. Hers were pet allergies,
Melaleuca was
and
her main.
hers was Melaleuca. Breathe, I think she said she used it first. So, okay. And anyway, so that's really important. Sharing why you're there and why you're passionate about this. And being passionate and you know, be as elevated as you can be. You know, apply all those oils during that meditation time and be ready.
So don't be stressed out, running late, not able to find your stuff,
Exactly.
having to speed to get there on time.
Yeah.
None of that.
Yeah. Oh, Chris does a good job when he teaches this class. He like starts the class with like looking for stuff. And I'm like, what is he doing? And then he's like,
And then he has like a blank slide for his power. It's like,
Yeah.
what happened? Like, the slides are all messed up, but it's all just setting up for like how you don't want to start a
don't
class.
start a class like that. That's really good. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so how the oils work and pass them around is the next part of my class. I taught just a few of them because I kind of dispersed that throughout the class. Quality. We talk about quality. That's the big thing. Why doTERRA? Because doTERRA started fundamentally on quality alone. That's why they even began, right? What their mission is. What co-impact sourcing is huge for me. That I really connect with, and most people understand that about me because I'll talk about in the beginning. My name is Lacey. I sell oils. I maybe don't say that, but I'm very passionate about oils, and we also have a farmstead or whatever. So people understand that I really like connecting with the earth that way. But anyway, how to purchase, number 6. Should I have, you know, maybe have the numbers, but remember, keep that simple. You say you have 2 options. You have a retail option, and then you also have a membership option. The retail option, if you want 1 or 2 oils, might be a good alternative, but for the most part, people order and they get a membership at the same time because it's simple. It's like Costco. You pay 1 time a year, and that gets you 25% off of the retail for the whole year. Whenever you want to use it, there's no obligations. You order whenever you want to. And that's just kind of like, I mean, that's the main brunt of what I say. And then I say, and I'm changing this a little bit because I have a new tear sheet that I'm excited about because it is so daggone simple. And it really, the only picture on there is of the Home Essentials kit. And I kind of wish it was Natural Solutions, but I'm excited about that because I feel like what I don't love about the class in a box is that when you hand that to a person, it's like 10 pages of flipping through, and now there's the 2 enrollment things in the back, and I'm like, really, can we not just have the 1 and tell the people, anyway. So I feel like it's just a little bit too much, and people get overwhelmed. By the time they're flipping through all the retail versus wholesale, it's just like, wait, what page is that on? And it's just too much for me. So this is a 1 sheet front and back, and I do like it, and it's just pictures, no words, so people have to take their own notes, which I think kind of makes it solidify in their brains a little bit better, but on the back, it's just the Home Essentials kit, and I say this, I'll say this is a great kit. This includes the membership, and talk about what the benefits of that are. I generally I've built my class to focus on the Natural Solutions kit because I really think, even as a beginner, that's the best place to start. And I wish I had started there.
And isn't that what the Share Success?
That's what Share Success highlights in the middle.
Yeah.
So I do like theirs. That's my second runner-up in terms of what I would use now. And I haven't seen their most, it took forever to update it.
I was going to say, do they have the updated kits? Because I switched to Live Naturally because it was the only one at the time that had the
right. Yeah,
They were
I know.
quick to they were
They were
fastest.
fast to
Yeah.
update, and so I can't stand having to print off extra
I know,
sheets
me
to take.
neither.
Yeah.
That drives me a little bit crazy. And that's why I've been using Class in a Box because I would use Natural Solutions.
I actually forced myself to use Class in a Box, even though it's not my favorite visually, because it's so easy for new people to
But
duplicate.
they've added pages since I started that, and it's gotten cumbersome for me. And I will still use it, and I think it's a very effective class. I'll tell you, though, not winter but fall, Living Magazine had this great intro to essential oils. And I have used that several times for classes. In fact, I'll just take the magazine with me, and then they have that too. But we just turn to page 23 and 27, or 23 and 24, or something like that. And in it goes, it's the same thing, like the 9 oils, and then it talks about some key points. And that is a great class because it's just simple, so simple. And then in the back, you can flip to the page that has just 6 kits in it, or 5 or 6 kits. So it's not as overwhelming as what I think is in the...
Class in a box can be overwhelming, but it also doesn't have enough oils. It's like overwhelming on the back end.
What is?
Class in a box, it only has, what, 6 or 5
Yeah.
oils?
Yeah, exactly. And
So I
think
add
it's
more.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
add to it for sure. But for new people, when I'm teaching
Yes.
a class to launch a new business builder, I use that because I want to be able to say, it's really simple, just add class in a box on your LRP, you get these bottles of wild orange, and then tell them later. There are other tear pads if you like the look or feel of a different one better. Yeah.
And what tear pads or tear sheets do you recommend?
Well, if you haven't used the class in a box, I would say start there and get familiar with it.
I have.
You have? Okay. I really do like Natural Solutions. And I did just order at Leadership. They haven't yet arrived. It's called Sharing Simply or something, but it's EOS.life. It's a weird website. It's essential oil supplies.
I think it is EOS.life. I actually went to Guatemala with one of the people who started that company.
Oh, really?
And she always had the logo on everything. I was like, what is this EOS stuff? So I went and visited it.
Yeah.
They have some great
They do.
materials.
Yeah.
I like livenaturallytools.com
And I haven't
as
seen that in
well.
person, so I can't speak
I
to
love
that.
it.
Yeah.
What was that, Live Naturally?
livenaturallytools.com.
Yeah, but I want to look into.
I like it.
I
I'm
like
really
people
excited
take
about
yeah.
it.
And I
But you
like
can,
the
some of you who are
kit.
new are probably already like, oh my goodness, there's how many
I
different
know.
options?
I know, and I even hate to start talking about it, but really, ultimately, you can just have your own outline, write what you want to share, and that would be a great class. People
And I
don't
like-
have to have a tear sheet.
I like to use the Living Magazine rather than a catalog, and whatever
Me
is
too.
seasonal,
Yeah.
you could use that as your guide, because there's always some
yeah.
great basic intro things and some recipes, and just kind of talk through your favorite. I mean, you don't even have to have the same thing as it, but it is nice to have an outline of some sort
Yes, I
to keep you on track.
Do you get the Living Magazine because you sign up as a member, or?
The stipulation is what for people to get the living?
I can't
It has
remember.
changed. It's like if you hit executive or something, you'll get it automatically, but you can order it for $1.50, or you can order 10 packs, or if you order a class in a box, you get 10 of
I
them.
think it's after a year, because I've been getting.
Is it after a year? Oh, okay.
Yeah, my mom
I
gets
get
lots of
And I haven't been a year.
Okay, well, maybe they changed it again.
I
It
think
was
they
when
keep
we
changing
started,
it.
it was elite, and then it went down
Or was
to,
that Leadership magazine?
oh, that's leadership.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
maybe it's if you're on an LRP now.
I think it's just all our pizza.
Okay.
Yeah, you
I get
probably will start getting it if you're ordering it. Yeah, or if you're ordering regular.
But if you want multiples to teach at a class, you can order 10 packs, or you can get the class in a box, and then
You
you'll
can
get
also
10 of
flip
them.
through it, well, I think, online.
Yeah.
For free. So, anyway, it is a great resource. Okay, so, where did we end?
How to purchase.
How to purchase. Okay, so the next thing is the 3 pathways that you don't want to skip. So I wrote this down because I don't know why I say the same thing twice, so I'm just going to go. Okay, so I'm here to support folks who want to be customers. My job is also to support folks who like to share and earn oils for free. And one of the other parts of my job is helping people build businesses sharing these powerful tools with those they love to add or replace income like I have chosen to do. Whatever your path, I'm so thrilled to have you on this journey, and I'm here to walk alongside you whichever direction you'd like to go. Okay, so that's not like 3 hours long of saying, anything, right? It's 2 sentences or 3, depending on if I punctuated right or not. So that we actually heard in it wasn't that exact, but I felt like I liked mine better because it was a little
Simpler.
shorter than hers. But what she said, she just reeled it out, and you're like, oh my word. But mine's a little shorter because I was like, I memorized that. So, but it was the same idea. Like, that was exactly what she said, and she said she's had a lot of success. She's a presidential diamond, right? Saying that. So, anyway.
Yeah, at our leadership breakout. And that's actually one thing I do think Class in a Box does well, because it has the what next and the 3 boxes, and it's like living, sharing, building,
At the bottom of the
Yeah, the
page.
3 pathways. It's
Right.
the good verbiage on the Class in a Box at the
Right.
bottom of the 2nd page.
meet with people and answer questions individually. That's the last part of the class. So after you've basically, that's it, you know, there may be a few questions that people ask in front of the whole group, but then you say, okay, so now I'm going to be available to each of you individually to help you choose what's best for you. And then that's where you help them choose what's best for them. And also recognize that you know what's best for them, for the most part, and they don't. So you take that control and be responsible with it. Okay.
And let the others be snacking at that time so they don't walk away
Oh,
while
sure.
something else.
Yeah. Oh, usually they don't walk away. Usually they wait. I mean, unless it's like, again, a much larger class. For the most part, people will wait because they want to hear what you have to say about them individually.
And sometimes I'll say, is there anyone who needs to leave right away so we can start with you? And sometimes I'll just leave it open, like, we can stay in the group and you can hear what I'm saying to her, but I'm going to, you know, and some people will, they just want it, they're so fascinated. Other people may walk away and come back, but, you know, give them the freedom to
And
do that.
usually, too, even when they're going to get food or whatever, they're still thinking about what their next move is. Like, so as soon as they stand up, don't be like, oh.
And sometimes they need a mental breather, like, okay, I just need to get a drink of water and
Right.
kind of think for a minute and,
Right.
you
And
know, come back.
too, it's important to recognize, so that class, what I just lined out for you, number 5 is where is like the halfway point. So that's 30 minutes, up to Why doTERRA, that's 30 minutes long, that whole segment, okay? And then, or maybe 45 tops. And then the next half is 30 to 45 as well. So I'll even say between Why doTERRA and how to purchase, I'll say, okay, so now we're going to shift gears, and I'm going to talk to you about how you can get your hands on these oils. And people always are like, okay, like it's a deep breath, and they're ready for it. You know, it's not like a big shocker, like, you know, the surprise is, woo, now I'm going to tell you something. You know what I mean? It's just that has been an easy transition point.
And I usually take about that same amount of time for home classes, but I've had to do some office settings where they have an hour lunch
Oh,
break,
right.
and I can do it, especially class in a box. I feel like helps me go shorter.
Well, that's
on
one
the
of the key
teaching
points
part.
to having an outline is to keep you from rambling on and on. 'cause
And I
it'll
can
keep
do
you
it
on.
in all of it in like 45 minutes if I have to.
Yeah.
So, you know your audience and how much time they're
Right.
expecting, or at least set that up in advance, or, you know, that this is how much time you should plan on being there, and give them that idea so they're not thinking, gosh, I thought this was going to be a 30-minute class and it's been an hour and 15 minutes. Is she ever going to be?
Yeah, exactly. And we've all been in that class.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was there yesterday in my own living room. Couldn't get out. Okay, so the job or the word salesperson usually has some negative connotations. What does it conjure up in your mind? Anybody can share. Pressure.
Used
right?
cars.
Used cars. You raising your hand? No.
No, it's right ahead, but kiosk people.
Kiosk people. No, you really want this lotion. You want it. No, I really don't. Yeah, kiosk people. Desperation. Definitely desperation. Dishonesty, yes. Did you say that? Yeah. Okay, all right. I wasn't sure if I am the right person. Okay, yeah. So those are all things that we don't want to be, right? But bad news. You are in sales. Get over it. Embracing. As soon as you're negative about sales, it brings down the whole room, and it brings down your entire business. It's not just the room, it's your business. You will not thrive until you embrace the fact that you are in sales. Because you are, and that's okay. You never know if there, one thing, you need to keep this in mind too, because in the beginning I've made this mistake. You never know if there are other salespeople in the room. So as soon as you say, I'm not a salesperson, and the guy next to you is, you're like, what are you saying? I'm from you. So go ahead and let that go, because there's nothing wrong with being in sales. In fact, we aren't used to it as much this day and age, but it used to be that a salesperson at the shoe store was somebody who would spend hours with you helping you pick the right shoe. We don't live in that time era, but that's what doTERRA is a flashback to, because we get to do that with our customers. And that's what good customer service looks like. So customer service and sales go hand in hand, and we are servers and sales people. So, you know, we can't really separate those two things as much as people want to isolate. I just serve people. It's like, oh, aren't you honorable? Sorry, anyway. Okay, so if you need some help getting over that, The Go-Giver is one of my favorite. The whole series is fantastic. GoPro is really good at helping with that. The 4-Year Career, also very helpful with that. You have to replace those thoughts. You can't just say, oh, I won't think that anymore, because you will, and it'll just be an elemental part of who you are until you replace it, and you come up with some good examples. If I told you people the other night on a call that I heard Mark Cuban talking about how he becomes so successful, and he said, well, when I was 12, I realized that sales was just serving people. And I was like, oh, so from then on, he was fine. And it's true. Like, his story was like, yeah. And at 12, I pretty much could have left the house and been fine. Because really, with that kind of confidence, you can be fine. Because you can know that if you're trying to help people, all you got to do is do that, and you'll be okay, right? Okay, so sales equals serving. It means identifying their needs and helping them find the best solution. You are equipped to do that. They do not know what they need. The Natural Solutions Kit is the best value, next to, of course, the Diamond Kit. If you could turn back time and enroll again, what kit would you get?
Every oil kit.
That definitely, yeah. The biggest one, diamond, every oil, yes. Would you get the family physician kit?
Not
No. Who enrolled with the family physician kit?
me. Almost everyone.
50%. I'll never use all this. Sweet. Yeah, exactly.
I don't need a diffuser next week.
Yeah.
I should have got a diffuser.
Right. I'll just get one of those cheap airing ones. Oh my gosh. Guys.
Put oils in my humidifier. What are you saying?
So the ones with the pads and the fan don't do anything. They're worthless. You might as well just stick a cotton ball on the sink. My 2 cents. They're very inexpensive though. But anyway, okay. So let's all say this together. I am a salesperson. Ready? I am a salesperson. One more time. I am a salesperson. Okay. One more time. I love sales. I love sales? I changed it. I love sales. I love sales. Okay. I'm seeing some mouths not moving. Fine.
You need a mental, mind shift. Sales is just connecting people with something they need.
Or they don't know they need, which is usually what the case is with us. They don't know they need it, but they need it.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know before you enrolled that you needed essential oils? I did not know that much. But I left knowing I needed them, and that was the whole point. So anyway. Okay, so teaching is leading, so don't drop the ball at the closing. Really, I heard Zia Nix, I think, said this at leadership, but closing is actually opening. We don't want to close people, we want to open people, and that really is it. That's just, we're opening that first gate. So don't drop the ball there. Lead people right to where they should go, and you should know what that is. So before you go into a class, I'm going to focus this class, or when you come up with your outline, my outline is going to be built around the Natural Solutions Kit. And I'm going to outline a lot of the products that are in there, and I'm going to show them a picture of that, and I'm going to say this is where the best value resides, and I'm going to understand that basically they get a free diffuser when they buy that kit, and they also get a free 100 PV credit if they order 100 again. So, there really are some key points. You need to know what you're selling yourself. What are you going for? What is the point, and where are you going to lead these people to before you go in? Okay, know before the class starts, and don't judge based on the people in the room and what you think they can afford. That's another key tip. A lot of times we'll judge the people by when we walk in the room, and they may even say something about their financial situation, and it is never for you to decide what they can afford. Okay, and then lead the people to know what you know, and to be a valuable product, and have no reservations about that. Even if they land somewhere else, they will be closer to the point you were trying to get them to. Like maybe they're not going to follow you all the way to the Natural Solutions Kit. That's okay. But it may not be the best solution for them, because maybe they need all the oils that just aren't in the Natural Solutions Kit. But they still get a membership, and they still get those oils, and that's the right place for them. But anyway, you sharing the Natural Solutions Kit as their point of, from heading up Kilimanjaro, you don't take them up Pilot Mountain, you know what I mean? They'll be much closer to Kilimanjaro if you go east. Where is Kilimanjaro?
Tanzania.
So that's east, right? Yeah.
You can get there either way
And kind of
eventually.
west for me, so that would be the wrong direction. Okay. Let's see if there's anything else that I need to make sure I say. I think that's it. So basically, let's see, if you teach them and then roll out without bringing them all the way to, and this is a drum roll please, how would you like to transform your wellness today? So you're putting it in their court. And there is a great video, I don't know who that girl is that does it, the 6 Keys to Close. If you haven't seen that, it's a really,
Is it
really good
Callie Watson or is it a different one?
Maybe. It's a Share Success one.
Oh, okay.
She has long dark hair.
Okay.
But the 6 Keys to Close, 6 Keys to Close. It's a very good video.
How would you like to?
How would you like to transform your wellness today? That's just an example of something that you could say that really is putting it into their, their court and letting them kind of start that conversation. Yeah.
So when someone joins, buys a kit, okay, depending on the point value, do they automatically get the free product of the month too?
No,
They don't.
that's only an LRP thing. When they do their LRP, they get that.
Can they then buy the 10% off
Yes.
product?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
And I thought there was 2 things that.
If there's a 200 PV special, they can get that. Like this month, the deep
Right,
blue.
okay, yeah,
Mhm.
so they could get the specials if they purchase that, so I never learned that till recently.
Right, sure. Okay, something to keep in mind, I didn't know my notes, but that's important. One, you really want to try to think about how you're going to encourage people at that class to have a class for you. So that's something I honestly am not so great at. Does anybody have a super good method of getting that to happen?
Need to know, because I want to know for next week. So
Right.
my goal is to
How
get.
to get
I'm
I
gonna
have-
find out Saturday, because I'm gonna offer diffusers.
so diffusers is a good, I think people like that one a lot, yeah.
So.
Yeah, I've done diffusers or diffuser necklaces.
At
I've
the
done.
class, but how do you roll that out? At the
So
class?
at the class, I've done little gift bags that have. This is how I use my wild orange a lot. Is from the class in a box, a little gift sachet, kind of with a wild orange and maybe a deep blue rub and a On Guard toothpaste. Very simple little samples they can get straight from doTERRA. I used to make more stuff, so if you are really into that and have time for that, that's great.
Yeah.
It's a lot cheaper, but I used to make things, and so these are little gift packs that I have as a thank you and just like a good faith gift for those who choose to book a class and put a date on the calendar today, and so that would help. So some people will say, yeah, I'm thinking
so having
about
your
it.
calendar ready
Yes.
with like 4 dates to choose from is
Or
really
more,
elemental.
or more.
Or more,
Sometimes they
sure.
like a little bit.
Flatter.
You know, I've been a salesperson for a lot of years for a lot of other things.
What's with the air
So
quotes?
I have no. I don't know.
I am a salesperson.
I've been a serving salesperson. How about that? But so, and I know that like if you give them like, say we're in the end of March now, just about. So you say like April and May. Now they're gonna probably choose a May date, okay? But I need to figure out something to give them to entice them to do in April. You know.
Well,
Don't
you
put
can-
more dates on there.
Don't
Well,
get
it's
May.
true, but then they're gonna be like, oh, April was this. I know. how
Here's
this
what I
works.
say, and that, 'cause
So,
I've done sales and proud of it for a long time too. So I would say, I'll see you that you're interested. You marked on the sheet here that you might be interested in having a class. That would be great. When might be a good time for you? Are weekdays or weekends better? So I usually try to get to that, and so weekends, I could never do weekends. And okay, great. Well, for weekdays, for me, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays are best. I really can't do Wednesdays. Are any of those good for you? And a lot of times they know their schedule. I can't do Mondays. I have to take my boy to Scouts or whatever. So sometimes Tuesdays have Bible study or something. So Thursdays are usually good. Great. Here's the next 2 or 3 Thursdays I have open. And it really you only need to give people 1 or 2 weeks notice. We're not planning a wedding here, right? So you can and that's what I have. I have like this month and the next month dates. And if they absolutely say, well, I have, like my daughter's getting married next month, there's no way I can do anything until May. Okay, I happen to have a calendar that has all 12 months, but I'm not offering that first.
But what I would say is, I would say like I have a gift for people who can host a class for me in the next 4 weeks.
Yeah, and
I
you
mean,
can
make
do that.
Stipulation.
Yeah,
And I do that with the
that
gift.
little
I'll say,
pack,
these
yeah,
are
that
gifts
would
for
be
people who
good.
book in the next month.
Yeah.
And I use notes. Like I think that it's a good idea to use those. You can take it home if you book a class within the next whatever.
And I've
take
had
one
it
of my first 4
backfire.
days,
I've had people
and
book
get
a
the
class
diffuser
to
as
get
your
the free
hostess
thing
gift.
and then
Mhm.
not
There.
return
So-
you know, most people don't do that, but I've had it happen a few times.
So you
Where I
don't
just
give the
can't
diffuser
get a
when
hold
you
of the
get there.
person and I just
After
think,
they take
I
it.
hope they're using their free
But
gifts
it's,
and,
yeah. That's a good idea for them to have that so they can be using it before
Yeah.
their class. So
Yeah,
they can
yeah.
tell about their experiences too.
or you could even
That's
do
what
the
I
little
thought.
doTERRA prepackaged samples. It's 3
Yeah.
oils, it's, you
That's
know,
really
that's
good.
inexpensive
Yeah.
too,
Yeah,
something
that's
small.
The only thing I don't like about that is then it makes them feel like if they do that, they'll get those oils and they don't need to buy right then. But
Yeah.
they should, like, so if it's something extracurricular, I think it's probably better, like.
And yeah, and that's why I used to always make like
Equally
bath
as a good
salts or
option.
body scrub
Yeah,
or
right.
something
Those
like
are
that that they
pretty,
couldn't
yeah.
buy from doTERRA. I just am
Yeah.
a little
Or even,
lazier
I
now.
feel like the body butter actually is one of my favorite. I've added that to my class because I love the body butter, and everyone loves the body butter. So having that at the class, I will make that one of my oils because people will leave a class and think we only do oils. And as soon as you mention LRP, they're like, I don't need 100 every month. But if you pass the body butter around, they get an experience with the product that they're going to see that they will want to replenish more frequently. So I really have liked adding that to my class. Just a tip, maybe pick something that it could be
That
body butter,
lotion
but
that's
something
into
similar.
the body, the spa lotion, that's
The spa lotion.
add oil to it. So
Oh, and that's true too. Yeah, that's a good thing.
As
Well,
an
yeah,
option
for-
for a carrier, yeah, when you're talking about carrier oils,
Sure.
you could do
Yeah.
that.
Definitely.
So you do like a good faith gift if somebody books a class,
Mhm.
and then you do a hostess
Mhm.
gift at the actual class.
Yeah. And when I was first starting, my hostess gifts were very inexpensive. It was a body scrub that I made myself. And I was very determined because I had a lot of debt from my previous business that I was not going to go into debt. I was all about, like, I'm going to make an investment in my kit. And I know it's a monthly investment, but I was going to try to make that up as fast as possible and then not give away the farm to get people to host classes. Because that was my previous
Well, and
experience with
that,
that.
I think the importance there too is that when you do a lot of that, and I mean, you know, not that you shouldn't sometimes, it devalues our products
Mhm.
because people want the information. So you don't really have to entice people that much, you know,
No.
it's like,
You want people to
Yeah.
want it. They're
Yeah,
interested, they
exactly.
want to be educated, they value you and what you're bringing. So
Exactly.
a little gift is fine. That's just like, you know, icing on the cake. It's not something that you have to do. You can make it small. I liked to get a bunch of little mason jars and just make a whole bunch of body butters or body scrubs or something at once, or hand sanitizers. And then I have my next couple months worth
Yeah,
of little giveaways.
yeah,
So,
in the beginning, I think what I gave was like, we made a roller bottle just as a demo in the class, and
yes.
I gave that.
And
to
I
them.
still love to do that as a host
Good.
gift or a door prize because I like for people to see how that's done and how simple. And it took me 30 seconds to make this, and now you have a liquid something
Right.
stress relief or whatever. Yeah.
Right, yeah. And the other thing is that, this is something I've heard in trainings recently, is that when you get in front of somebody, and this is basically for some of these people, your first point of contact, you always want to have the next thing scheduled. So if somebody enrolls at that class, you want to have some idea of what the next step is going to be. Is that going to be a wellness consult? That's great if it is. Get it on the calendar right then. If it's going to be, you know, a 102 class, get that on the calendar right then. Make sure they know when that is and when, you know, that they're going to plan to come and all of those things. And that's something that's just, I think, for me, been a huge, like, just kind of a revelation of, like, always have the next thing ready and open, and so they know it's just kind of a rolling thing. Like, you're not going to ever really lose touch with these people once they've enrolled with you. And I'm sure there are other creative things that you can do.
Well, and on our team, you always have the monthly
Right.
continuing
Right.
education classes
Plug
that you
them
can
in,
bring
yeah.
people to. So plug people into, like she
I'm on
said, the
my Facebook
next.
groups
Mhm.
and stuff like that, too.
Or even say something like, watch for my email that, you know, is going to give you some information or something like that, you know.
Do you use the Zyto?
Not at a 101 class.
Hmm?
Not at a 101.
No. I mean, like in follow-up classes. Do you
Oh,
have
sure,
to
yeah, or a
use it?
wellness consult, yeah, and that can be a huge draw if you have access to that. But it's not necessary, but it's still cool. And I feel like Daily Drop now, you could just do the whole wellness consult and kind of focus around the Daily Drop app as the kind of Zyto, because you've got the what do you call it?
Emotion, yeah, find your
Yeah,
emotion
that-
or whatever.
People love that thing, and it's fun to play with.
Oh.
I don't know what you're talking about. You said wellness consult and 101 class.
So 101 is just like the intro class itself. You know, like the first class is kind of like just in a call, like a 101 class. Your very beginning, first intro class to essential oil. So that's what you would be hosting at this point. And then a 102 would be like when you get people together and talk about, okay, next step, how to make a roller bottle, how to do all these other things, right? Okay, you haven't even been to one of those, so
thank
don't worry about it. And then the next, what do we say, wellness consult would be where you get together individually after somebody's enrolled and help them come up with a plan. And there are tools to use for that. The Live Guide is what I like to use from Share Success. Is it called Live Guide? Right, Live Guide. And it's just another tool, and we'll show that to you.
And it's mainly too to make sure they're using their oils. So they've gotten their oils, maybe it's been a week or two since they enrolled,
Right.
and you want to offer to come over to their house or meet them and make sure they know what to do. You know, it's been 2 weeks since the class, they've slept a few times since then, and maybe they just need a reminder.
Right.
Maybe they're afraid to use it, or they just don't feel confident, and you show them how to use what they've already got, and then talk about their health goals. And so you don't even necessarily need a sheet to go by. If you just talk about their health goals, show them what else could meet their needs and how to use their textbook, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's
And
just
if
really
they
a good
haven't
follow-up.
seen- If you didn't share the resource, like the Essential Life at the class, then the Wellness Consult's a great place to show them that and show them how to use it.
I call when I do the follow-up with that, I call it a membership overview, so that
Yeah.
they can understand their membership
Same
better. And the way that I get them to let me come over is I was like, I've got a gift to bring you too. So
Yeah, I
I'll
always
bring
do
them,
that
like,
too.
empty roller bottles, spray bottles, stuff like
Yes,
that. And
those
then
are great.
if they got like the kit, then I'll just do a printout on what 150 uses for the well, I think it says physician kit now, but you know the whatever. But yeah,
Mhm.
what I have.
Just making sure they're equipped for the next step.
Some people are
basically.
afraid to even open their box. Like
Oh, yeah.
I've gone and they're like, well, I didn't want to open
They
it
just
till
put
you
it in the
got
box. They didn't do anything with it. Like, oh, we gotta fix that.
Yeah.
You can use this
Open
stuff.
them. Just open it. Well, they don't work like that, is what I like to say.
Yeah.
What do they do for you there? That's a good one.
And if you didn't get a wellness consult, just forgive whoever enrolled you right now. We're all still learning and growing, and sometimes we just do a 102 class or send you some video links or
Right.
something, but just making sure you're connected and know the next steps to take should be part of what you're doing for people.
I like that though about scheduling the next step, like even if it's not hosting a class, making a point to schedule a wellness consult or membership overview
Right.
with people who've enrolled, because I feel like I've tried to do it, like call them or text them, or try to
Retroactively,
set it up
yeah.
afterwards, and a huge failure rate. So I don't have many people on LRP, and that's frustrating.
I've started calling it a kit overview or an oil overview
Yeah.
because I feel like the membership overview, they're kind of like,
That sounds boring,
yeah,
right?
it sounds boring. So I just say I want to come do a kit overview with you, and we're going to go over all the oils you got and talk about how they're going to be helpful to you. And then I do offer, I have a little welcome gift from my team, and I do like the
Yeah.
shampoo samples, the shampoo and conditioner.
Right, yeah.
Just a few little inexpensive things like that to entice
Sample
them.
bottles are a really good thing.
Yeah, I do roller bottles. We buy, my
Yeah.
team buys them in bulk. Like I had 556 show up on my door the other day. So we get them for like 45 cents. And then I give them, give them 2 little empty roller bottles.
And that's really empowering then, because it can be overwhelming. You're like, I just bottled this, so where do I get my roller bottles? And they assume they can buy it from doTERRA, and they can't, so that they can be.
Maybe one day in a perfect world. That would be
That
great.
feels like a whole other monkey. Oh shoot, I just thought of something, but I lost it. But yeah, I mean, that's it. And really, I mean, like I said, a class is just opening the door, because all of this happens after, and you can't iron that all out tonight, or even the perfect class night, but you can open doors for people as soon as you get in front of them. And I will say that Crystal made me read this book. I can never say the name right. Dare to Dream, Work to Win. Dare to Dream, Work to Win. So you have inside, heads are nodding. Preach, right? Preach. Anyway, no, it's a good book. It's pretty easy to read. It's not like, hard. Like Thou Shalt Prosper, which I love so much, but it's thick material.
Takes a lot of brain power.
4-year career's the easiest.
Oh, 4 year. Yeah, that's like an hour long.
4-year career is newer, and
It is new.
Dare to
That was
Dream, Work to Win is old school network marketing, where like they didn't really have social media when that was written, and so it's all about phone calls, but it's good principles that are timeless. So
But anyway, so he talks about logging hours as a pilot. When you become a pilot, you have to log like 200, I don't know, hundreds of hours actually flying a plane before you can get your license to be an actual pilot. And with doTERRA, I think people, they think, oh, well, I'll just share with people here and there, and I'm building a business. But if you aren't logging specifically hours, like drawing out time to do that, then you're not working your business, efficiently. Because your hours are the times when you're in classes, your hours are your times when you're doing one-on-ones. So when you're in front of people, that is when you're building your business. Okay, so you can't skip step.
Yeah, so it's like,
That's
it's not, oh, I've been enrolled for 6 months and it's not going anywhere. So just like a pilot, well, I took the pilot training course 6
Right.
months ago, but I haven't been in a plane since. So
Yeah.
that's the logging hours, is the conversations that you have with people, the classes you do, the one-on-ones you do. That's your hours that you're logging. Income producing activities, so sorting your oils alphabetically and your color stickers by patterns or whatever, filing your paperwork.
Right.
Like those are things that you might enjoy doing or might have to do, but logging your hours in this business is the people that you're talking to and the follow-up that you're doing with them. And so,
And a pilot might like adjust the air conditioning just right, and like get an angle just right.
yeah, and they have to do their engine checks on the ground and stuff, but that doesn't count.
Doesn't count,
Right?
right,
It's
yeah.
flying in the air. So, and that's where she said at the very beginning, like it's the number of no's that you hear, those who are more successful or at a higher rank or been doing this longer or whatever seem more successful. They've just heard more no's, they've logged more hours. So just keep doing those things to get to that place.
Definitely. Any class questions? Covered it all. Good, very good. Okay, so who's gonna demonstrate for us? Look at that, we have 100 minutes.
Okay, great, because I have a few things to give away. Well, I should probably stop this because one of them is like attached to. You guys can say hi to our business group. I'm sure they love that. Say, I love sales. All of you say it with us. Okay, goodbye. We're ending. Good night, everyone online.